Art is thriving in the Cedar Valley. It's everywhere. But if you don't know where to look, you could miss it. This is your local arts perspective. This is the Arts Overlook. Hello and welcome to the Arts Overlook. Each episode we give you a look into the many arts-related stories circulating the air in Cedar Falls. This episode is no different as we'll preview the University of Northern Iowa Theater Department's newest production, give you a glimpse into competitive speech at UNI, and take you on a virtual tour of Cedar Falls' public art. So let's get right to it. Recently I had a chance to visit the set of Batboy The Musical, UNI Theater's latest production, and I found the cast and crew busy putting together what should be quite the spectacle. Okay, before you jump to any conclusions, just hear me out. Batboy the Musical may not be what you expect.
Don't expect baseball, because that's frequently we'll get, is it about baseball? No, but it is, it's a musical for people who think they don't like musicals, because it breaks all of the rules only to turn around and follow them.
Batboy the Musical is UNI Theater Department's big spring production. It presents the audience with frightening yet comical circumstances that seem to stand apart from your stereotypical musical theater plot.
Batboy is mostly about this boy who is found in a cave who is half bat, half boy. It's kind of based off of those tabloid stories that you see that aren't really realistic at all, but people think they're entertaining anyway. And so it's taking that tabloid story and kind of embellishing on it and saying, well, what if that actually happened? And what would happen in a town where this person was brought in who's kind of an outsider?
Batboy, or Edgar, as he is aptly named later in the show. When he starts out, he is really primitive. He can't speak English at all. He's been in a cave his entire life. He's never seen the sun. So he does a lot of yelling and screaming, and he's easily scared, angered, and confused. But throughout the show, as he progresses, he becomes more adult-like and more human in his form.
Batboy addresses the serious issue of acceptance, yet does it in an entertaining fashion with a wide range of music, dance, and special effects.
It moves quickly, it's relatively easy to follow. It doesn't make it simple, but it makes it accessible. It rocks. When we have the ballads hit, like the rock numbers hit. And I think the story's engaging. We use the term freak rather frequently in our everyday language, but what happens if there's a freak among us? Do we become the freak because of our treatment to difference? And this musical isn't afraid to ask that question.
The UNI Theater Department has been busy putting everything together for Batboy and has looked to an alumnus to direct it. Patrick Elkins Zaglarski is visiting from his current residence in Denver and has surrounded himself with some of the best talent UNI and Cedar Falls has to offer.
I have to say I cast it very well. My choreographer Daniel Wells and my music director Stephanie Aloff and her partner Ben Hoskins in terms of managing the musical end of it. We were very, very fortunate to get the level of talent that we got at auditions, and then to be able to pick the cream of the crop is a great and rare treat.
Hallie Cook plays the role of Shelley, the daughter of the town veterinarian who ends up having to live under the same roof as Batboy. Although just a sophomore, Cook has some good experience with UNI Theater musicals, having played a lead role in last year's production, You're in Town.
I was really nervous auditioning as a freshman and I didn't think I would get in, but I wanted to go for it anyway because I just love musical theater so much.
Fellow sophomore Andrew Rubenbauer, who plays Edgar, the Batboy, was in the audience last year watching Cook perform on You're in Town. He recalls how much he wished he could have been a part of something like it, although he was not a theater student.
I was sitting there and I was antsy the whole time because I was like, this is a fantastic show and I could totally do something like this. Like, I want to be in something like this. And the girl next to me said, well, you don't have to be a theater major to be in this stuff. And I was like, what? Why has nobody told me this? I would have jumped on board and been in that right away. So then I kind of had to sit back and wait patiently until I heard Batboy the Musical auditions, and I just went and I jumped on it right away and signed up, and here we go.
Batboy was even fortunate enough to recruit the talents of renowned Cedar Falls artist Gary Kelly, who created promotional materials for the show.
And he took to the show as any of us on the team did. In fact, there came a point where Gary was producing ideas, and we were really thinking, how do we get all of those ideas? And our marketing director, Tracy Gatos, came up with a really strong strategy to embrace Gary's not only cooperation and commitment, but his enthusiasm. So what that allowed me to do was to take his imagery and echo it in moments in the play.
But whether it's Gary Kelly or a freshman stagehand, UNI Theatre prides itself on valuing all aspects of the creative process.
The department really values students that come to the process from any angle. So whether it's design, front of house, education, performance, they're valued and they're being challenged by productions that really help them to grow. Likewise, the audiences.
Batboy The Musical is currently being performed at the Strayawood Theatre on UNI's campus through April 15th. For tickets and showtimes, call 319-273-6381 or visit uni.edu/theater. We'll stay on campus for this next piece as we stroll down to Lang Hall to give you a look at the UNI Forensics team, who are prepping for nationals. Matt Chapman will tell us more.
When most people think of the UNI Forensics team, they probably believe it has something to do with what they may have seen on the latest episode of CSI Crime Scene Investigation. However, that is not the case. The UNI Forensics team participates in intercollegiate speech and debate tournaments across the nation. The UNI Forensics team is one of the oldest student organizations on campus, and they are extremely proud of that. The UNI Forensics speech team has 9 events in which they compete. These 9 events are among 3 categories, which include platform events, interpretation events, and limited preparation events. In platform events, you have persuasive speaking, informative speaking, and after-dinner speaking. In interpretation events, which are more acting-oriented, you have events such as dramatic interpretation, poetry interpretation, and prose interpretation. And lastly, in the limited preparation events, you create your speech moments before you speak. The events in this category are extemporaneous speaking and impromptu speaking. This year's UNI Forensics team qualified 6 students with a total of 24 events to the AFA NIET National Tournament. The UNI Forensics team looks to improve on their 13th place finish last year, and senior Mandy Paris believes they can do this because their team is very close-knit.
Our team this year is really close. We're all very close friends, which is cool because last year that wasn't exactly the case, and we I don't know, it's a very supportive environment. It's kind of because you spend so much time with each other, and I share a bed with Zoe every weekend, and we ride in vans together for 6 to 7 hours.
There are many enjoyable things about UNI Forensics, such as learning a skill set you can use in just about any career path, or getting to spend time with friends and travel across the nation. However, junior Zoe Russell believes that lifelong friends made from UNI Forensics is hands down the best part about the organization.
It is a really good community to meet people. I'm really good friends with everyone on my team, and I made a lot of friends all across the country from other schools, so that's a really cool aspect of it.
While some students may question joining UNI Forensics because of the time commitment, Kate Lavelle, the director of Forensics, suggests that you try to pencil it into your schedule because the benefits outweigh everything else.
I think it's really the best thing that you can do with your college experience. And I say that as someone who's a professor who loves teaching and loves working with my students in the classroom. But the students who are on the forensics team, it will be the most educational experience they have because you take everything you learn in the classroom and you amplify it by performing it in front of people from around the country and getting feedback and really learning about particular topics and issues.
While some people aren't exactly sure what goes behind the doors of the UNI Forensics room, they are doing their best to get their work out to the Cedar Valley community. On Wednesday, March 28th, they held a speech showcase at Lang Hall that was open to the public. The UNI Forensics team hopes to continue to share their work with the community.
People don't always see what we're doing, that we're oftentimes in our squad room and we're kind of working behind closed doors. So we love to have opportunities to kind of show people what kind of work we're doing as a team, not only when we go to other tournaments, but also sharing that with the Cedar Valley community.
With the 6 students making their way to San Antonio, Texas to compete in the AFA NIET National Tournament later this month, you can be sure they will do their best to bring back a championship to the Cedar Valley. For the Arts Overlook, I'm Matt Chapman.
Thanks, Matt. UNI Forensics will be in Texas April 7th through the 9th, going for the gold at Nationals. Good luck, guys. Our final segment is the Arts Overlook's first attempt at a virtual tour. While nothing tops experiencing art in person, consider this an introduction to public art in Cedar Falls. I had the opportunity to tag along with the UNI Public Art Committee's Jan Anderson, who gives us a little more of an in-depth look at pieces of art you may have otherwise just passed by.
The Public Art Committee's first projects, Gateway to the Trails. The thing that's really interesting about this piece of sculpture is in 1998, Cedar Falls hosted RAGBRAI, and the volunteers from that committee wanted to leave a lasting gift to the city of Cedar Falls. This piece is also very important for us because it was the beginning of formatting a public art commission. And this committee is under the Art and Culture Board at the Hearst Center for the Arts. Mary Huber and Tom Stancliffe helped us, and they had invaluable experience. The sculpture itself represents the trails and the river and the trees all along the trails. It was a very tight competition. Over 140 artists were sent out RFPs, requests for proposals, and Bruce was selected. And the committee knew from the beginning that they wanted it to be named Gateway to the Trails. This piece is known as Allure, and the artist is Robert Craig, and he was an artist commissioned to do this work. He teaches at Drake University. It's been on Main Street about 6 or 7 years. Actually, it's one of my favorite pieces. It's a little bit different than some of the others that we have in our collection because it's painted various colors, a couple of different colors, and it's painted aluminum. This work was inspired because of the architecture in the downtown area, and I particularly like it because I walk by it about 2 or 3 times a day, and every time I see it, depending on what time of day or the season, it looks different and interesting to me. This piece is known as Ebb Tide and is done by Tom Stancliffe from the University of Northern Iowa. Tom is one of the charter members of our Public Art Committee. This piece of artwork was originally made for an exhibit in Florida, and when the opportunity came up for us to purchase this piece, we were all very, very excited to have this kind of caliber of work in our collection. And so with the help of an NEA grant and private donations and the Public Art Committee, we did purchase this from Tom. And the piece speaks of stainless steel and bronze. It's whimsical. The top of it kind of gives you the natural environmental look maybe of the sea in Florida, where it was commissioned to be in this exhibit. I think Cedar Falls is a really lucky community to have such a wide variety of wonderful artwork represented by so many artists, not just in the Cedar Valley, but throughout the Midwest in our collection.
We're not done with the tour just yet, but we're out of time for this episode. So make sure you catch the rest of our tour on the next edition of the Arts Overlook, which will premiere Thursday, April 19th at 7:45 p.m. Like always, we'll leave you with our arts calendar. Thanks again for watching.